Yo, Still Mills, what's the dizzle, man? It's Friday. I'm just now getting off the clockage. I'm heading to the crib, man. It's just supposed to get lit come tomorrow, man. And it's bone chilling outside in this motherfucker right now, man. So nigga like me finna just be cooped up in the crib. Well, my son got basketball practice today, man. But other than that, my nigga, I'm in the casa. I can't think of no big fights coming on this weekend. I think Carolyn Dubois fights this weekend. I'm gonna look out for that. But I can't really think of nothing going on, so it's just gonna be a chill week, man. But peep game, man. I want to get into something, man. And I'm just now coming across this video, right? I'm just now coming across this video, and this, my man KO Boxing. I just left a comment on his video. I just came across it a few hours ago or whatever, man. And he's, oh my god, he's, man. Listen, this Stockholm syndrome shit got to come to an end, right? Like, you can't just sit up here and accept subjugation and extortion and Debo tactics and mistreatment and all that shit just to show allegiance to a fucking man who clearly doesn't show the same allegiance to you. You can't fault Turkey al-Sheikh. You can't fault Turkey al-Sheikh for allegedly taking the big fighters and making big fights over there in Saudi Arabia when the American boxing public has been, the Cold War goes back to what, 08 or whatever, 09? So we've been dealing with this shit for well over a fucking decade now, man, and a decade plus. And it just kind of hit a breaking point where it's like, all right, bro, we should not be getting fights this late in the game. These fights is fights that should have been taking place, a year ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. You dig? Ever since and even before Floyd and Manny, there was always this rift between Showtime and HBO. But Floyd and Manny, they were just so magnanimous, you couldn't help but make that fight. But even then, that took 5 years to make it happen. And ever since then, it's been this play to milk and marinate fights. I always talk about it, man, just oversaturating and over-marinating fights. You're supposed to strike while the iron is hot. And if that fight is anything like people is, saying that it is going to be, you are looking at a potential rivalry right there. You are looking at a potential rematch and trilogy. You're looking at like Canelo and Golovkin. So you have PBC. You have the PBC or whatever, and then and they're doing everything that they're doing. We don't even have to go back and down the list of the amount of pay-per-views, putrid pay-per-views that they gave us. You have them doing that. Even with Devin Haney. Devin Haney is the fact that he wants his fights on pay-per-view was like, what are you doing? Nobody really knew you like that to the point, within the boxing manosphere. So now when you go on a pay-per-view, that usually attracts the attention of the casuals. You think you're known like that to the casual fan base? No, you're not, bro. You're not. And for you to sit there and justify putting your fights behind a paywall was just something that I just could not comprehend to save my life. Shit, man. Shakur Steve, they canceled that fight with Shakur Stevenson and Joe Cordina when it was supposed to be behind, when they was trying to put that shit behind the paywall and make them the main event. No, what the fuck? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? And what he's calling for, I think what he's really mad at is the fact that here comes Turkey al-Sheikh making all these cash injections into the sport and overpaying fighters to come over there and fight in Riyadh, to come over there and fight in the UK or whatever, man. And that, the American boxing fan is so, they're just so territorial that they don't, they're territorial, but they don't want to concede to the time how times have changed. You can't be territorial. It'd be a different ball game if the market up here was as fertile as it was in the early 2000s, the late 90s, the 80s. Not the late 90s, but the 90s in general, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. If we had that type of market up here where we was mass producing this, a certain caliber of talent, we're talking all-time great talented fighters, and they're fighting on a regular basis. They fighting 2, 3, 4 times a year. It's not, they not Hollywood. They're being sponsored and all this. You can, it'd be a different ball game. But we have fighters who are being promoted. Like, I'm gonna go back to what Ring IQ said. We have B and C level fighters being promoted as A level fighters, and that's a problem. And so when you get all that shit happening to where nobody, everybody want to play, what I'm saying, want to play the A side, everybody want to be divas about it, everybody want to be, put behind a paywall and put on pay-per-view, because in their heart of hearts, that's how you made it when you put your fights on a pay-per-view or whatever the case may be. Anything can be put on, pay-per-view right now. You dig? Any and everything can be put on pay-per-view right now. So that isn't necessarily a sign that you've made it to a certain level of success and stature within your particular level, within your particular profession. You dig what I'm saying? So you going behind a paywall isn't necessarily, that isn't a sign of you making it and being the HNIC or nothing like that. But y'all niggas want that shit. Y'all want to over-marinate fights. Y'all don't want to go abroad across the pond or whatever to fight over there and garner a fan base over there. No, y'all don't want to do wild shit over here. Y'all want to stay behind. Y'all want to stay on the world. Yo, if you fight me, you got to come and fight over here. Exclusivity deals. There's all this dumb shit going on. So now you have a dude who wants to come in here and break all those barriers down and say, let's get these big fights going. And instead of inviting and embracing that, you want to demonize him and show him as a dictator or whatever. First, if you're gonna be, if you're gonna be an advocate for socio and geopolitics over there in Saudi Arabia, then I need to hear that. I really need to hear that on your channel. I need that type of content put out on your channel, Brody. That's just being real. That's just being real. And you can't be mad if somebody is trying to overpay a fighter. If, pay a fighter above their market value, just for them to get a fight going, you can't be mad at him for doing that. Because we need these fights. We need, these are the fights that the fights that we got last year, the fights that we was asking for. We got 2 undisputed title bouts under this dude. We got 2 undisputed title bouts with both fighters being on separate sides of the street. We was able to get that. How is this a bad thing? I just don't get how you can be. I'm not patriotic. I'm not a proud American or nothing like that, because I refuse to be swindled out of $80 to watch Charles Martin versus Luis Ortiz, or Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz, or Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios, or Tank versus Mario Barrios and Leo Santa Cruz, or Rolly Romero or Isaac Cruz, or Wilder versus Robert Helenius or Ortiz. This has been this Fundora versus or Zoo. This has been the norm for for the PBC to put on these types of fights, and they all whacking you $80. They all whack. There's no reason why this is the only company that's sinking is putting on this many pay-per-views. There's just no reason for that. And the pay-per-views that you putting on are proven to be like, don't nobody know them niggas? For you to put Ortiz and fucking Charles Martin on a pay-per-view, that right there is a certain level of deviancy that I can't even put into words, bro. And y'all will rather keep doing that than to invite a dude who's willing to say, yo, I'm gonna put a bag on y'all, but if y'all want to fight, y'all got to come over here. We're going to ostracize him for trying to better the sport. And you know what? My thing is this, man. If fights leaving America isn't something that you don't want, why wouldn't you push for Al Heyman to make certain fights happen instead of, justifying why he's moving the way that he's moving? There's no reason this should have took Earl Spence and Bud 5 years in the making to get made. The minute the nigga jumped up to 147 pounds, that was the fight that we was asking for. Let him get let him get acclimated a little bit better to the division, and let's get that fight underway. But y'all didn't have no problem when Bud was, when it was 60-40, 70-30. I'm an 80-20 a nigga. That wasn't an issue with y'all. Like y'all saw joy out of that. Y'all that was something to be laughed at. Oh shit, look at Earl stunting on Bud. All that was funny to y'all. It was funny for y'all to say, yo, man, Anthony Joshua over there on the fucking DAZN on the matchroom side of the street fighting for slave wages. That was funny to y'all. Bud top ranked Toby. That was funny to y'all. All that shit was funny to y'all. All of that shit was comical to y'all. Y'all never pushed for Tank to fight Lomachenko, but y'all would rather instead create these fictitious narratives that Lomachenko was the one ducking fucking Tank Davis. When you get tired of chasing a nigga, eventually you gonna say, man, I'm not worried about that dude. I'm not. He only wants to fight on pay-per-view. I'm cool. You get tired of the bullshit, and y'all will take that narrative and spin it as if Lomachenko is running from this dude and ignore what happened before that, which would eventually lead to him feeling the way that he was feeling. And now y'all want to put Lomachenko saying, "Nah, man, I'm good," under a magnifying glass, bro, and ignore a fucking damn near a decade of him running. So we have a dude coming into to this boxing stratosphere that is looking to make all types of contributions to the sport, and y'all feel some type of way about that. If y'all didn't want boxing to leave America and the biggest boxers to get their biggest paydays over on the opposite side of the pond, then y'all should have did what it is that y'all niggas had to do to ensure that that didn't happen, which was not allowing in-house fights primarily to take priority over other fights. It's impossible for a stable to have every fighter that a fight, just it's impossible to make the matches that everybody wants to see, because it's going to be a certain level of talent over here that you want to see with this nigga over here. He's not going to be in this stable. Y'all can't be mad at him for bringing in that shit. I think that's a serious, that is Stockholm syndrome at its finest. In order to show loyalty to a nigga, I gotta come out of pocket damn near $300 a year annually to see some fights that are undercard fights. Undercard type of fights. Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin. You think of any of them pay-per-views that I just named? They're undercard fights. Wilder and Zhang was an undercard fight. Had Beterbiev not gotten injured, they was on a fucking undercard. Why do we need to see Luis Ortiz versus fucking Deontay Wilder on a fucking pay-per-view? Why do we need to see Robert Helenius versus Deontay Wilder on a pay-per-view when you have a more proven, formidable fighter in Zhang, who is a fucking undercard fighter? He's being put on the undercard. Keith Thurman and Mario Barrios? That's not an undercard fight to you? Are you kidding me? That is an undercard fight right there. That's an undercard. You don't put that fight behind no damn paywall. Justifiably. You don't get mad when the dude comes in here and buys up Ring Magazine. Everything y'all are getting mad at, when's the last time I haven't heard a Ring Magazine reference in I don't know how long. Nobody goes to, matter of fact, they got more venom for this motherfucker coming in here and buying the magazine than they did when Oscar put fucking Ronda Rousey on the cover. Where's the spite for everything that went on? The accumulation of Turkey Al-Sheikh coming into the sport and doing whatever it is that he was doing. Where was the blowback from the American people? If we're banging on the PBC, right, why are you looking for reasons to defend it? When you clearly see what they're doing is cancerous. And instead of looking for ways to rectify that shit, you want to justify it and stand lock in step with them 10 toes down. Nah, it's PBC or nothing. PBC or not. I've had people say that to me. It's PBC or nothing. And I'm just sitting here like, man, you can be a fan of them niggas, but call out the bullshit. Call out the bullshit. Y'all don't want to do that. Now y'all want to go and come. Y'all want to be supportive of a Bob Arum. I'm hearing my man say, "Yo, man, y'all need to be in the corner of Bob Arum and this and that and the 30." And I'm like, Bob has been consistently putting on shows, bro. Like, everybody wants to also formulate this narrative that Top Rank is getting ran off of ESPN. They getting kicked off of ESPN. No, a representative from them said we could go and renew the contract. We're not getting kicked off. The contract is up. It's up to us if we want to renew it. He's fucking on record saying that shit. We can renew the contract if we want to. Our biggest thing was we don't feel like we're getting the most exposure on a ESPN network, in which it makes sense because it ain't a coincidence that the NBA numbers is down, bro. It's not just boxing. It's not just boxing when it comes to ESPN. It's not just boxing. Numbers are down abroad. NBA basketball numbers are down, bro. I'm not so sure about the NFL. I think the NFL is still doing their shit, but the NBA I'm not so sure of. So I'm saying, my nigga, like, your whole thing is, like, what are we talking about here? Al Heyman is the only one that's in deep water. 5 shows in the calendar year, 4 of them being pay-per-views. That's not a sign of trouble to you, my nigga? The fact that we are getting a card, a $200 pay-per-view card, worthy for only $40, that's something to be proud of. You can't be mad that America isn't involved because y'all niggas suffer from the delusion that it's America or nothing. These niggas have this mindset that it's something going on with Monster Inoue because he doesn't fight over here often. As if he needs to fight over here. Because of y'all heart of hearts, it's America or nothing. Even though y'all don't follow the divisions that he campaigns in. I made a video on that as well. America or nothing. America, 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 America. It's childish. It's childish. It's childish. And when we bring these factors to light, we're deemed the haters. You a hater. I'm a hater. I ain't gonna cap, nigga. I'm a hating ass nigga. And I have no shame in my motherfucking game. I'm a hater, bro. I'm a hater. If I see you being counterproductive to some shit that I like, I'm hating. Oh, I'm definitely hating. Unapologetically. I'm a PBC hater. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I do like fighters from PBC. But I don't like this Hollywood treatment that they get, like they better than the rest and head and shoulders above the rest of the competition, so therefore they don't need to go seek them out. Oh, no. None of y'all are that good. Nobody's that good. Floyd wasn't that good. To where he didn't need to go seek out nobody. Nah, bro. No. Nobody is that good. So I'm saying, man, you can't get mad at somebody who's coming in here to remedy the problem. You can't be mad at that. I'm diabetic. I'm a newly diagnosed diabetic. Going to Al Heyman, just continuing to support Al Heyman would be like me not going to getting the diagnosis sought after, and me ignoring the insulin. Like, nah, I don't want that insulin. I don't want it. I just rather keep my blood sugars going up. When I went to the hospital, I was looking at my blood sugar was like 980 or something like that. And when I went in there, the nurse was just wide-eyed looking at the screen like, bro, I don't think you understand the level of danger you in right now. She was like taken aback, like, what the fuck? So no, bro, you're not about to sit here and tell me that Al Heyman is somebody that needs saving. That Al Heyman we should look to galvanize and turn Al Heyman into some sort of martyr or whatever the case may be. And we should turn Turkey al-Sheikh into we should turn him into, just, I don't want to say those words because, everybody who comes from over there in that area, that's the term that people use. Nah, fuck that. We gotta treat Turkey al-Sheikh like he's a terrorist or whatever. I think that's utterly ridiculous, man. I think that's utterly ridiculous. All to do is, for the most part, from my point of view, all he wants to do is make big fights. And if we being real, if he is trying to turn Saudi Arabia into the next Madison Square Garden, if he is trying to take Saudi Arabia and turn that into the next Las Vegas, maybe it is what it is. But that's something, at this point in time, America needs to get their head out their ass and say, oh, okay, all right, let's if we gonna get on one accord, because in order to get on one accord, that will require fighting one another. In order to get on one accord, that would require coming down off of that pedestal that your head's in the cloud and that diva shit that y'all niggas be on. Let's get in unison and do what we need to do so they cannot remove America from the boxing manosphere. None of you niggas is willing to do that. I just don't get how niggas are so comfortable with shit staying the way that it is, my nigga. Like, no. Let them go. Let's turn Saudi Arabia into Madison Square Garden, what it was early on in the 90s and in the 70s and in the 80s and all that, and in the 60s. Let's do that. Let's turn it into the new Las Vegas. Because I think that's the smack in the face that the American boxing public needs for them to get up off their ass and do what needs to be done so we can restore boxing back to its glory years up here in America. Y'all would rather let this shit wither away and die than do what needs to be done, bro. We are in a country where we have a sports network solely dedicated to sports. Solely dedicated to sports. And on that network, they show fights. And those fights get little to no coverage. The only time we see a big fight gets covered is if it's a pay-per-view. They will talk about football and basketball in the offseason before they mention boxing. They will talk about baseball in the offseason before they mention boxing. They'll talk more about hockey than they'll talk about boxing. And y'all don't see that there's a problem that needs to be addressed here in America? Y'all don't see that? I fuck with KO. You dig that? That nigga know his shit, bro. He do. That's my nigga, man. I fuck with that dude, straight up and down. It's a good brother right there. But bro, you got a responsibility, my man. Anybody who can sit in front of this lens right here and talk to the twos and fews people that they fuck with, because there's only two and fews that fuck with me. I don't think I'll ever be one of them big, channels where a nigga can just eat off of this shit solely. I'll never be that big. I'll never be that big, and I'm cool with that. But if you have one subscriber, you have a duty. You have a fiduciary duty to come on here and speak truth to power. And truth to power is we have a problem in America. Our boxing scene has a problem here that needs to be addressed. And y'all are not addressing it, bro, because y'all it's for you to criticize something or to give constructive criticism to y'all is to be a hater. You a hater. It's stupid. It's stupid. You can't be mad at a dude who's just simply on the surface level. I don't know what their plans is afterwards. But you can't be mad at a dude who's trying to remedy the problem in the sport that we all love, man. You can't be mad at him. You know who else was coming in and making drag out cash injections like that in the American market? Eddie Hearn. And look where that got him. Dude damn near has a monopoly on the sport, bro. If Top Rank goes over there to the zone, game, set, match. Money talks, bullshit walks. You are asking fighters to accept pennies on the dollar in comparison to what they could be getting over there only to show loyalty to America. When they're in the most brutal sport on earth, they supposed to just get pennies on the dollar or whatever, man, and just all this wild shit just to show loyalty to America. Just to show loyalty to America. No, my nigga, no. If someone is willing to pay you more than what your market value says you are, hey, yo, it is what it is. I'm outie. You're supposed to go do that. And who's to say that they not going to bring fights here to America? They're still trying to bring fights here because America, culturally, this is the place to be. Culturally. Why? Because we here. It's just a fact. Black American culture is undefeated, man. We are the culture. So yeah, man, just our energy, our prowess, our brain products, it reaches every pocket on this planet. So naturally, you're gonna want to be in the same space as that, yeah. So they're gonna do their shows over here, man. Bud had that was a big show over in LA. It was huge. Boxing in America isn't going anywhere. It isn't going anywhere. But y'all just, y'all did the same shit with Eddie Hearn where y'all were so shook that a dude outside of this country could come over here and run the block. Look at how y'all acted with him. And all he's asking, man, let's just make the big fights happen. That's all he's asking for. That's all the dude want. I don't want nothing else. Just let's make big fights happen. Let's just do that, man. It don't got to be nothing other than that. Let's make big fights happen, bro. Let's make big fights. That's what we're here for, right? I want to speak for the consumer. I'm sure the consumer wants this dude to fight this dude right here. So let's make it happen. This is the same dude who has sent a multitude of his fighters over to other platforms to fight, including our baby Alicia Baumgardner. Hey, yo, bring that belt back. Bring that belt back. Bring that belt back over here. John Ryder got the Canelo fight because he sent that man over there to fucking box, or not a boxer, but Queensberry. Go do what you do with Zach Parker, man, and let's get you this Canelo Alvarez fight. That man he's gotten his fighters big fights. He's done good. He's done good work by quite a few Americans, and by just his stable. Look at what he did for Danny Jacobs. But y'all was so territorial over America. The narrative y'all formed with him was, I'm like, this is wild. The dude is trying to put you in your pocket and look how you acting with him. Now he has a monopoly on the sport, almost, if Top Rank signs to him. And now that bag gets exemplified that much more because he has the turkey on his team. The Turk, and I ain't talking about nigga from the Hot Boys. Turk doing his shit, man. Turk in the strip club making it rain, $1,000 bills on the strippers. $1,000 bills on the strippers, man. Here, y'all had that. That's what Turk be doing, my dude. That's what Turk be doing. And y'all mad at him because he got it like that. Y'all mad at him because he got it like that. You would be mad at him for overpaying a fighter. You would be mad at him for overpaying a fighter to ensure that we get the fight that we want. You're mad at him for that. If he paid that fighter more than what he worth, then they ain't gonna fight up here. They not gonna fight up here if they used to getting all that money. Hey, it is what it is. Do better. Promote yourself better. Go to these radio shows. Don't just go to YouTube, man. I think we need to revert. Just when technology gets to a point, technology eventually gets to a point where it's like, all right, man, I think it may be time to revert back to what it is that we used to do. All right, so if that's the case, boots on the ground. Let's pound the pavement a little bit. You did what I'm saying? But look at what Donald Trump did during his campaign. What did he do? That nigga went to motherfucking McDonald's. This is Kamala Harris talking about, yo, I used to work in McDonald's. I work with McDonald's as a teen or whatever. All right, cool. I'm going to troll you to death. I'm going to troll your soul now. So let me go to McDonald's, man. Let me go put in this pain with the employees up there. Shit like that. Just think outside the box. Think outside the box. If y'all don't want America to not be the land of milk and honey, do right. Do what needs to be done. Study the greats from yesteryear. How did y'all get the endorsements and the sponsorships to where y'all being put on billboards? Y'all ain't even got to do that if we being real. Just simply go sit at the feet of a Canelo Alvarez, not from a boxing standpoint, but just a marketing standpoint. How the fuck are you on a call? How are you getting promoted for a Call of Duty game? Y'all don't want to do that though. Y'all do not want to do that. Y'all do not want to do that. America is too comfortable, at least the fighters up here, they're too comfortable with riding off the coattails of the fighters from yesterday. The fighters from yesterday blazed an incredible and impeccable path for the fighters today. And they are still reaping the benefits of that. And if we're being real, they're deteriorating the standard of American boxing. They're deteriorating it. Not all, but enough. Enough to where we gotta say, nah, bro, you doing the most, you tripping. At this point in time, you can't ignore the Brits. You can't ignore the Aussies. You can't ignore the Japanese. You can't ignore nobody. Because it is a wide lens on the world. If the NBA can eventually bow down and concede to the fact that, yo, man, we gonna have to start drafting these cats from Slovenia. We gonna have to start drafting these Greeks. We gonna have to start, drafting these. Hey, we got to do that. These Serbs, we got to start doing that. If they can do that, and they got a far bigger bank account, TV deals and all that shit, jerseys being purchased in the store, NBA stores, shoes, all of that shit, all of that feeds into all that feeds the machine of the NBA or the NFL. All of that. I'm just saying, man. If they can concede to that, why can't boxing? And because boxing can't concede to that, they in the predicament that they in. Now, you got you got the OG homie Turk, Debo, and y'all off y'all spot, man. KO, I fuck with you, my nigga, but no, that ain't a good look. You are not supposed to sit there and accept mistreatment, Brody. You're not supposed to accept that. Y'all, the PBC has turned boxing into an invite-only high society sorority club, bro. That's not what it's about. Because a lot of people who come from them type of environments are not prone to combat, being combative. By and large, they're not. They're not prone to that. They're not prone to that. Because they don't come from an environment that's combative. They don't come from an environment where you see niggas get pent up against the wall, getting rousted. They've never heard gunshots going to sleep. They don't got dead homies. They don't got homies locked up. They don't come from that type of environment. But y'all have turned boxing into that. Boxing is a members only club now, bro. It's a members only. At least the PBC have made it that way. Y'all not about to keep punishing me to be a boxing fan. Y'all not about to keep, well, you're not punishing me at all. But like I said, I've come across people who was, oh shit, I'm a boxing fan, so I'm gonna buy Thurman versus Barrios. I'm gonna buy Rui Ortiz versus Charles Martin. Just it's because you think you're doing the sport a favor. If you go and you put, no, you're not. You're doing a disservice to the sport, because when you purchase Charles Martin versus fucking Luis Ortiz, they'll run any type of game when you, oh well shit, man, Charles Martin and Luis Ortiz were never as good. They were never more marketable than Thurman. So I can put Keith Thurman behind the paywall to fight fucking Mario Barrios. Andy Ruiz is a former unified world champion, man. I think we can be able to get him versus Luis Ortiz on a pay-per-view and Cristobal Arreola and sell that. I think we can do that. You see how wild that is? You're doing the sport a disservice. Them niggas have done a sport a serious disservice. And now this is the result of that, man. So blame them niggas, man. Don't sit there and try to justify the shit that they doing. Don't talk to me about no Amazon deal. Don't talk. That shit ain't about nothing. That shit ain't about nothing. Amazon ain't putting no show up to get them niggas on the. If they was putting, they wouldn't be giving us pay-per-views, because they pay for them niggas price point. 5 fucking shows this year, and I heard 6 next year. That's just not the move, man. So before we jump out the window and we ostracize a dude who's just simply trying to better the sport, at least for right now, we don't know. He could have some dastardly deeds, but let's see those dastardly deeds first. Don't hold him accountable for what goes on in his country and making women second-class citizens. I'm not into that. I'm not into that at all. I'm not into that. He could be, but he can't be as well. I take every man, for him. I'm not gonna indict you. I'm just predicated on what the rest of the people around you was about. You dig? It could be a female who hangs around a multitude of hoes. Shorty can be a virgin. I judge every man accordingly. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm not about to sit here and say, yo, man, he a dictator and this and that and that. Like, that's some wild shit to say. He a dictator, the words of a dictator, all because he just simply wants to do right by the sport. So because he wants to do right by the sport, and now Al Heyman's apparel, he's a dictator, and he treats women as second-class citizens, all type of wild shit, bro. Like, you just can't make it up, fam. You can't make it up. So listen, if y'all don't want him to come and Debo your spot, simply do better by the sport. We not a yacht club, bro. We not. We regular blue-collar workers who just want to see good fights. And if you want those fights to be, if you still want to throw fight parties 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night instead of at 4 in the afternoon, what are you willing to do to be, to see that shit doesn't happen? Tank is your man. Are you about to force Tank? Go do what you got to do to go make that Shakur fight. Do what you got to do to go make that Teofimo fight, because that's a part of the problem. Divas. Shout out to Turkey Al-Sheikh. Get fucking Al Heyman the fuck up out of here, man. That's not my man. He is not my kind. He ain't from where I'm from. Nigga, 30th Street, Northside, Omaha, to blast shit, Brody. I'm outie. Deuces.